Welcome to Staff Meeting, everyone who's out there watching us do this. Or by us, I mean myself, Frank, Guinevere, and James's kitchen, possibly. Hey, James, yep. How are you?
James's dining room.
Yay!
I'm putting dinner in because I was late. Yeah. We normally used to eat at these things, so it's just, I'm just returning to tradition.
You could still do that. You could still do it. For those of you listening to the podcast, we are three talking heads coming at you doing production work, because if we don't do it this way, we'll never do it. I don't know which view is better. Is this better or is this better? I think this is slightly better. Yeah,
I like this one.
Yeah, this looks good. All right. There are books around us because we're doing book club. We're talking about book club. As a testament to the name of this network, what we chose to call this network, this is how long. This is the 4th episode of Staff Meeting, where we do production work live in front of an audience. The 3rd episode that we talked about book club within Staff Meeting. And we have been talking about this for well over a year, restarting book club. And we don't have any concrete next steps documented at all. None. Every day I'm like sitting there, we're about to go to bed going, should I post about book club? No, I want to get other people's input, I guess. Am I overthinking this? The answer is always yes. I'm definitely overthinking it. But yeah, that's what this experiment is about. Part of the fun of making sausage is showing how the sausage is made. That's not a phrase. Yeah.
May I?
Yes, James.
Recommend.
Yeah.
A way to start this out.
Sure.
So I recommend that we talk briefly about what we're currently reading now, right? So that we pick something that's going to be different than what, so that we're excited about it. I don't want to potentially recommend, right, what we're currently reading.
Yes.
Not that I would, but also so that we don't, accidentally pick something that's maybe a little too on the nose with what's going on. Gwen's taking out an entire stack. I'm only reading one book.
I think I'm reading 3. I love this idea,
dude, and school is officially over for me.
So now it's time to read. No, I understand.
Here I come.
I love this idea, but I actually think before we get to that, I think we have to. So I had a feeling we weren't on the same page before when I think I messaged you folks yesterday. That's why it's an emergency staff meeting, because we have to reschedule. But I don't know if we're on the same page. I'm talking like 10,000 foot view meta context. What the hell are we doing for book club?
Sure.
So,
we can do that.
Yeah, let's talk about that first, because if it turns out that we're not picking a book, then it informs the later decision.
Sure. I'm going to get my food then, because that sounds like 10,000 feet sounds like a discussion I need food for.
Yes, absolutely. Go get your food. And I'm just going to get some historical background on what book club is for non-pro, what has been. I think the first time we book club was no one cares. It was many, many years ago. It was, I think it was a Jules Verne. I think Lost was in its final season, because there was some reason we read A Mysterious Island. Yeah, there was some reason we read A Mysterious Island. It couldn't have been for joy.
We didn't do that for fun, right?
Yeah, I don't think we did that for fun. I think we did it because, it was something that we were going to do. Regardless, most recently and probably the most impactful and successful, the one that had James and Gwen in it, was about a year, maybe 2 years ago, I guess, where we did A Darker Shade of Magic, which was great. And I loved it. I like the idea of having guests come on talking about why they read what they like about a particular book. For those of you listening to the podcast, what are you drinking? What are you drinking, James?
It was the last day of this job. The first, believe it or not, I don't know if I can say this, but I'm going to anyway. The first job I've had in New York, and the first show job, people in a room viewing a thing. And the first job in the new Javits expansion.
Oh, nice.
That's a lot of firsts.
There's going to be a lot of firsts for
You deserve that adult beverage for the podcast. Remember, this is going out in audio.
And then my dinner
And what's your
Yeah.
dinner is? Oh, that's
Ooh,
sad.
Mac and cheese and an
That's
old
like a lot of
supreme
carbs.
pizza.
That's a bowl of carbs,
Isn't
man.
that like a lot of
It's
carbs for a diabetic?
All that's in the fridge.
Uh-huh.
And
I see.
Do it.
it's all that's in the fridge. That's
Hey,
where I'm going to stop.
I can't judge. So
all
I
that's in
hope
the
you're.
It's just what I need.
I'm sure you worked really hard and need that delicious carb energy. And we'll be monitoring you through the show if anything bad happens.
Give a lot of insulin right now. A lot of insulin.
That's right. So yeah, book club has been around for a while. We've been playing with it back and forth for quite a while. Specifically, the last time I think we officially did a book club was Darker Shade of Magic. But then I had to look it up.
We did like a 2-person book club mini thing, sort of, because we both got
in
excited
March.
about the book.
March of 2020, we did what? High Fire?
And I'm
Was
still.
that it?
So we talked about doing High Fire, and then I read it, you read some of it, and James is like,
So I've started High Fire 3 times, and I love Eon Collar. I do.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. Every time I start it, like something happens in my life that derails me. And then I'm like, I don't remember exactly what was happening. I'll start again.
Yeah.
And it just, nothing is harder to get through than a book you've started 3 times.
Yeah.
Right?
if you ever get through it, let me know so I can reread it.
I
and then
want
we can
to.
talk about
I own it. I own a signed copy. I love Eon.
You got a
Collar.
signed copy?
Yeah.
The signed copy from Sarah Winters.
Sarah signed the copy. Why?
No,
she went somewhere. She was at a signing.
That makes more sense.
And I love Eon Collar
because she's a good friend and knows you love him.
Amazing. And I
got you the signed book that you haven't read.
I feel like a fraud. A fraud.
If you're the author and you're watching, message us on anything, and we will.
I would be surprised if we heard from him.
Yeah,
literally. You message us, I'll give you money.
I'll give you money, you filthy.
He needs our money.
All you care about.
You don't need it, but
all right.
That's how surprised I'll be.
This is fun.
And the other thing, I know James and I discussed Hank Green's book, which again, not so much book club, more like book review, I guess.
Yeah. Needed to talk with somebody about it because Michelle had
like
read it. She got me into the first one.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, books have always been a thing that we kind of tangentially covered on Non-Productive, but doing a book club has been a thing we say we want to do, but we don't have a good idea of what that can mean. And it could change, obviously. Things can always modify and change. The Darker Shade of Magic book club was a podcast series, mini series, I guess. But that's not the only thing we could do. So again, I think a few months ago, so we're talking about 3 weeks of staff meeting, but it's at least a month, maybe more. We started talking about we should do another book club. And I think the way Gwen phrased it was like, let's just talk about our kids and tangentially talk about the books that we are reading right now. Yeah. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Book club in the widely accepted culture we live in is that, you get together and you talk about a lot of stuff and maybe you talk about a book.
Right.
But, you say you're going to read a specific book, you bring that book with you to the meeting, and then you have some drinks and snacks and talk about your kids instead.
Yeah. A club.
We can do a version of that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a club. You have fun and you chat. So it reminded me of a kind of an idea I had, which was a little less, I felt, intensive than the whole come and make sure you've read your chapters. Because a big factor in Darker Shade was that if somebody was a little behind or not, we'd have to either stole for time. You're still producing a podcast. Your objective here is to make content somebody finds entertaining and interesting. So you can't really just fake it the way you might with a bunch of friends that you met and talked about books with. You want to give them something that is legitimately interesting for them to listen to. So I felt maybe we could do a little bit more wiggle room if we did like a choose your own adventure book club. Everyone brings whatever book they want to read. There's no obligation to read along at a certain pace with everyone else. And it's really just talk about the books you want. And I think for the most part, we all had head nods in the Discord when we talked about it, but like it's still nowhere near a plan. So that's what this is. But the first half of this, which may only be like 5 or 6 more minutes, is let's figure out what we want to do in terms of content. I'm going to try to share my screen, although we may not use any of it, but just to be really anal retentive. I even have get this.
You guys who are watching the video version, you're getting a lot of extra stuff. You're getting like eating faces, me dropping mac and cheese and eating it on the floor, and the Google Doc.
Indeed. I actually did not notice you dropping mac and cheese and eating it off the floor. That's terrible. But no, it's fine.
It's okay. They have one of those robot vacuums. The floor is probably like pretty clean.
Sure.
The floor is pretty clean. Actually, you know what? Question mark. There's a weird delay, but it'll work. All right. Again, if you're watching along with us, please feel free to comment along, and we will throw it on the screen and answer your comments. So, yes, let's talk about what we want to do in particular. If this were me and I were leading the show, and I just had a bunch of people who were saying, "Hey, I really want to do a book club," and I guess to be fair, just to speak personally on this, we kind of went a little into why you want to be part of a club, but like I really enjoy reading. I miss doing Near Mint with Ken and Pete. I love reading comics, for example, and just talking about what cool thing I found recently. And what cool things I found recently, and what horrible things sometimes. That's even fun too. Just a little comment from one of our viewers. Cat hair goes well with mac and cheese, by the way. Thank you. Very good.
James's
mother-in-law. I really miss reading.
Someone's watching. I love it.
I really miss reading, and I miss like hanging out with friends, and I miss the break from reality that reading creates for me. And I do think like James said earlier, I start and stop books all the time. I've been trying to read this true crime novel for maybe 6-7 months with Iman, my wife, and we just do not get any further on it because we have so much, there's no obligation. No one's putting my foot to the fire, and I think a book club will help. But I also have personally, I have almost no bandwidth for major production. And I feel like that informs what I might want to do out of book club, but maybe not what you two would want to do. So back to this thing is the force plate clean. So yeah, for me, I want something. I think if I were to run the show, that's why we're going to cover this first and very briefly. I'd want to be super easy, maybe literally a post in the fan club or on our website once a week and saying, open channel, what are you reading? And have people just talk about what they want to do. Or to be a little bit more techie because I'm weird like that, maybe Facebook rooms or the Discord stage. We have an open channel that anyone can join and have full audio. We could arrange a time of the week where we meet up and just keep the channel on and just talk or video chat with each other like that, like a open meeting, less a produced podcast like we're doing now, and more just a chat. But those are my things. So I'm gonna just type them down real quick. Oh, I'm in the wrong window. That's what happens when you have so many weekly posts. So there we go. So these are not really like super awesome ideas, but I'm being honest with myself on what my bandwidth is. Now, the two of you, what are you thinking? What's your vision of book club? Because you could certainly trump me on this.
So, may I?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I think I feel like it needs to be a little bit more produced. Otherwise, I don't know if we hold ourselves to it. Right now, don't get me wrong. That doesn't necessarily mean that we'll hold ourselves to it on top of that. But, I think it gives it a little bit more urgency. I'd love to do something like this. I think this with the combination of Gwen's book club and the choose your own adventure idea would be, I think, really good. Right. Anybody could jump in. Hey, this week, right, is book club staff meeting. Right. And everybody comes in and talks about their books. Whatever book that happens to be. Right. Which is great. And I think that's super low maintenance and low pressure. But also, like, if we don't have like a ton of stuff to talk about at staff meeting that week, it's a great substitute for doing just a general staff meeting. Alternatively, I would be willing to do some extensive production, and I feel like this is more of a near mint pitch. But I am so excited for the Y the Last Man TV series, and it is maybe my favorite comic book series of all time. And I honestly think both of you would love it. And I recommend it to everyone I run into. And, you know, I think it'd be cool to read that in the lead up to the TV show, which I think is this fall.
Okay.
And I would be willing to put in production work on that. Like, I'd be willing to own that project.
Right. So produce live stream, sort of like staff meeting. And I think like at staff meeting, a good question we can ask every week theoretically is what you're reading, what you're playing, what you're doing. Right. That's a good thing you would ask at a staff meeting. But also in that is it's not required. And I know none of this would be required, but it's not. We shouldn't come with the expectation someone's going to answer what are they reading, right? If we were doing literally a book club and I said, okay, what are we reading? And there's an answer of nothing, then that's sad. At staff meeting, like if the question gets asked or not, okay. If the answer is, oh no, all I've been doing is watching 30 Rock for the fourth time.
I've been reading the sad posts on my phone, you know?
Yes.
I've been doom scrolling.
Good read.
Yeah, I don't have much value to add in terms of production. Not like a skill that I really have. But as far as things that we should do, can do, whatever, I like the idea of talking about what we're reading like once a month-ish, and whether that is in an informal kind of Discord room is open Facebook thing, or if it's an assigned staff meeting, like this week on staff meeting, we want to have people talk about books, that kind of thing. All of that would work for me. But I think that like a conversation is better than just posts. That's my
idea. Yes. So just to put this out there, and this is not a criticism at all. This is the opposite of that. To enable anybody to do creative things is my goal in life. So if you ever want to be trained on any production, I know everybody's is super busy, so that's not necessarily in the cards for everyone. But if you do, if that's just a passion you're interested in, and I can help make that happen, I would definitely be. I'd love to see Gwen doing a video production series. Just like, all right, I'm teaching myself After Effects, and this thing is going to be polished. The credits are going to be amazing, and then it's just cell phone video. I don't care. I would love to see anything you would want to make. So yeah, that's an open invite. All right, so talk about reading once a month, convo, not just posts. I hear that. And yeah, so I feel like the seduction of our fan club, right, is very strong. Because it like gets so much attention, so many comments, so many posts. Everything is dissected and reviewed, and it's really fun. But I'll be honest, throughout WandaVision, so to counter James's earlier statement of I don't know if we'll keep doing it, I think we definitely do. If I forget to post a Loki episode, somebody's going to post that Loki episode, and there's going to be a conversation. Like it has momentum. However, I look back at WandaVision. I look back at what was that other one? Not Captain America, not yet. Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Loki. And I look at it and I'm like, that's great that all this stuff is floating on Facebook and not on anything else that really kind of matters to me. It's barely on our website. We barely have any vision on the website. So doing like book club as just a bunch of Facebook posts, I could see that being kind of like unsatisfactory. So, and definitely a conversation, an actual virtual face-to-face thing is something I'm hearing is
conversing.
Yeah.
Is nice. I think that the thing with you were saying about like accountability, right? Like it's really easy to scroll past a Facebook post, even if you know that it's coming and you're like, oh yeah, I should read my book so I can comment about what I'm reading. Like, I don't think that that's going to have I don't think it's going to encourage people to actually like pick up the book and do the reading, right? So I think it's going to have you in the same position you are now, where you and Iman are like, yeah, we really want to read this book. Eventually.
Yes. All right. So it seems like I think that's absolutely fair. So it seems like we're floating between possibly two things. Let's rearrange this in order of interest. Weekly post seems like it's like meh. So how do I do strike through? There's a command for that I used to know.
Yeah.
I want to say it's like control, like
Alt Shift
or something. That's weird.
Also, if I had thought about this, I would have had you both able to edit this as well. Alt Shift 5. Yeah. All right. Sorry. So weekly post seems like it's the least likely thing we want to move forward on, and I think that's pretty fair. Near Mint style comic deep dive, that's pretty much picking the subject matter of what the read will be and maybe merging Near Mint with it. I know Sandman was something that Ken and Pete and I have talked about literally for years, for as long as they've been talking about making a series of it. So either one of those could work. I'm almost not, I don't want to like risk putting too much peanut butter in this chocolate or chocolate in the peanut butter. Like I don't want to overpower it. And I feel like if we're trying to do Near Mint, then it really tells us what we're making as opposed to just we're going to make what we want to make. It's completely new. So I'm doing cross out text, which seems severe, but wow. Things can be uncrossed out. All right. So a produced live stream similar to this software, I can certainly show someone, and I would barely have to show James because he has done it before with us in this particular software. I mean, there is an issue. Like, we have to make sure that we schedule them and put them out. It's not super live. It's not super like flexible. Literally, we were having a conversation of what are you doing today, or how was your day? And I was like, "Shut up, James! Don't tell me about your day." I know I asked, but if we don't go live in the next minute, we won't be able to go live. It's scheduled, so that kind of sucks. You don't want to necessarily put that pressure on yourselves, but it's it's not the end of the world. If you are once it's scheduled, you could feel comfortable enough to go back to it over and over again, and it could be part of staff meeting one of the days of the week, like the last one of the month or something, or it could be a standalone thing. Or the two last ones I'm going to push for, kind of want to hear someone say no to me, is Discord Stages, which is their new way of doing audio and video channels. It's basically you get to pick certain people who could speak and anybody else can go in and listen. I've thought about doing that for the non-pro Discord for a while, but I don't know if we have any content that's suitable for it. This might be something that would be fun. It's like an open stage. People could come in there and just chat, and any of the regulars can be given the ability to talk. Or rooms, which I've only ever done with other clients actually, but they're like these little messenger rooms that open up in the fan club. Although that's kind of like Facebook specific, right? You are basically saying that you have to have a Facebook account to interact with this, to log in, see a room. But it is kind of cool function if you've never seen it. You go into a Facebook group or whatever, and then there's a little button that says book club, and you click on it, and then anyone can join at any time, leave at any time, and have a little conversation. So those two are the room and maybe Discord Stages are very low impact. We don't have to do it. We can do a stream like this, but I'd like to hear it from the two of you if that's something we're interested in. And I think I muted both of you at one point, so I don't know if you could unmute yourselves. Yeah, there you go.
I think it might be too low impact, right? But the problem with our Discord is it's not super frequently traveled. I feel like we would have to do a big push for it to get the eyes on it at the right time, right? And if it's just, hey, pop in, then you know what I mean? If they had that feature but on Facebook,
I think that would be probably yes. Rooms.
But I think that's
Yeah, I think that's pretty much rooms. Okay. I'm also comfortable with doing this for a certain amount of time before we're like, all right, clearly every week I'm saying, oh, I got to load in. Oh, I got to do this because, yeah. And then at one point we just, adultly look back at what we're doing and say, this is too much. This is too hard. We gotta slow it down, which it makes it easier if it's a choose your own adventure thing as opposed to having to finish the book. Right. Okay. We'll do it as a live stream. Maybe we'll figure out. We can even decide that now. Do you want to make this? Let's screw that. We're not having another conversation. Do you want to do this as part of staff meeting, or do you want to do this like a week, like one of the weeks of staff meeting once a month? We'll do a book club, or do you want to do it as a separate show?
Just
tie
it right into staff meeting once a month.
Talk about once a month. I agree. Once a month of staff meeting, we'll do book club. I think it'll change who the guests are. It'll change some of the interest, and a neat way to mix up staff meeting. If for whatever reason we realize that 100 people watch book club staff meeting and 5 people watch the other staff meetings, then we can circle back and be like, hey, so apparently you guys like this.
Yeah. Or the more likely scenario where Gwen's the only one showing up every month saying, I read something, and the rest of us are like, reading. Yes.
I read every day now that I'm working again because I listen to my audiobooks, which is reading.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
It counts.
Speaking of the High Fire audiobook is really good if you want it. If I could force you to
I got it. Yeah. That's how I was gonna try it next.
Nice. All right. So yeah. All right. I guess we got a plan except for everything except for the most fun part of a book club, which is picking the books, the book or books we want. So just to recap, I'm so glad titles. I wrote that correctly. Nope. Wait. All caps.
So what's the problem here?
Yeah, no, I'm just so what's basically just so you know exactly how the sausage is made. I'm sharing a screen. I've got 2 screens right now. The one I'm looking at, which has my beautiful co-host in it, has also a Google Doc open on it. So occasionally I will try to type into the Google Doc that is just the shared screen from my other screen.
Oh man.
Like a
that used to happen to me a lot.
Grandpa. Like I really sad.
Google Meet. Google Meet changed its features. It used to be that when you're in a Google Meet and you were sharing, when you looked at the Meet, you couldn't see it. Just said you're sharing your screen, and you had to go to the other tab to see what it was. And then they changed it so that you could see what you were sharing, which was great because then you could be like, oh yes, the font is big enough for the children to read it. But it was terrible because you'd be like, I'm scrolling. Why is it not scrolling? Like, oh right.
Yeah, and you're in the wrong thing. Yeah,
on the wrong screen.
I've done that maybe 40 times in this 20-minute presentation. All right. So we're okay with people coming in talking about whatever books they were reading at the time. But do we kind of want to have like one book that we're maybe going to try to aim people at? Is that a conversation we want to do, or are we not? Do we not want to do that?
You guys want to know what I'm reading right now?
Yeah. Let's do the thing that James asked for earlier. Yeah.
So right now I'm reading Hail Mary.
I want to read that by Andy Weir, right?
It's
Hail Mary.
Hail Mary.
Hail Mary.
Hail Mary.
With an AI.
Amazing.
Oh, I gotta get it.
So
I'm gonna get it.
I thought it was a pun title. I thought it was Hail Mary,
No, Hail Mary, sorry. And so the premise is, and this is back of the box, right? Guy is on a mission to save Earth from a problem with the sun. He was a crew of 3. He wakes up with amnesia, and his crewmates have died on this suicide mission to save the world. And you would think that would be the exciting part, but it's not. In like chapter 4 or 5, we get to the exciting part, and it's amazing, guys.
All right. I gotta
amazing. And I don't want to spoil it, but like I wouldn't want to die to be this guy, because I mean he is going to die, but I mean the experience he's having in this book that you're going to kind of live through is just, I mean, wow. If only.
I almost bought that in my last book of the month. I almost did that as an add-on, and I was like, I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
'cause
The
I
Martian was
like-
great, but then Artemis was like,
Artemis was fine.
good,
It was just fine.
but it
This
wasn't,
is
like,
more.
amazing.
This is way
So-
more The Martian
Okay.
than it is Artemis, right? Artemis was definitely fully narrative. This is still narrative, but it could be journal entries the way it's written. And it's so much more focused on science, right? Mostly because, I mean, that's all the guy really has to do there. You know, as compared to Artemis, the main character, I feel like we got a bit of her life and stuff like that. And
Right.
he was trying to really do this like deep emotional character depth, and like he's not good at that. Like, I don't want to be mean.
Really burning a lot of authors in this. Man.
But yeah, it's really good. And then the whole thing is juxtaposed by, because he's got amnesia, he kind of gets his, every time a memory
figure it
strikes,
out,
right, it's a flashback. And then we get a little bit of a look into how we got here and what happens and what he knows and all that sort of stuff. But it's just, I mean, wow, loving it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like when people have a book that they can endorse that full-throatedly.
How
It's great.
far into it are you?
I'm like chapter 12 or 13 right now. I don't know how many chapters there are, but I still got like 9 or 10 hours of book.
Oh, okay.
You got plenty of book left.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
And
yeah,
it's going to be a weekend soon. I don't get a lot of drive time on the weekend, so.
All right.
Okay. I like
But
it.
this is the sort of book that, like, when like if I got home a little earlier, I could walk into the house and like Amazon, pick up where I left off, or I put my phone on the counter. Like it just, like any extra minute I can get to listen to it. Right.
All right. That does sound pretty good too. But mostly on the energy of your cell. I've only got 2, and I kind of want to go next because I have a fear that Gwen has 47 books.
No, I only have like 3 books to talk about. So.
Oh, that's good. Mine are going to be quick because I can't recommend either. So I'm reading The Dark Heart. That's a way to start this, is to say that I don't recommend it. It's like I'm not sure if it's really like the right cup of tea that we're aiming for. That's the true crime book, The Dark Heart. It's interesting. It is interesting, and I do kind of like true crime, but it was really, I picked that up to have something to read with my spouse, and it just didn't work. We were just too busy, and it's an interesting crime, but so far I don't see a lot of the mystery yet, and I've been reading it off and on for months. That's probably more my fault than the book's fault, just so you know. It's probably just it's too halting of a start for me, and I don't know. I'm not sure if I can really say this is the one we need to read. I'm also doing the whole every book ever thing, where I'm trying to examine every book on my shelf. And I landed on, because it's completely random how I'm finding which books I'm going to talk about, is Flatland. And I don't know, do we know Flatland? It's a very old story of political intrigue and geometry. It's the world of
who's the author of that one? Is that Pratchett? It sounds like Pratchett.
No, it's really old. It's it predates Pratchett by like maybe 100 years. So and that's why I don't remember the author's name offhand. But it would be great, because one of the reasons we did Mysterious Island, Edwin Abbott. But yes, Edwin Abbott's Flatland. And then one of the reasons we did Mysterious Island way back in the day is because it was public domain. We could all get it, and this is public domain as well. But yeah, it's an interesting story about a 2-dimensional world where a 3-dimensional shape shows up. A sphere shows up to a circle and blows its mind, which is, of course, a sort of a satirical look at politics and the world of 1884 England when this was originally written. I don't even know if it was England or America.
To be fair, it might thematically fit with my book.
Oh,
and full disclosure, I was also reading that book with my wife. We listened to the first couple of hours, 5 hours or so, on the trip to Vegas, or the trip from Vegas to San Diego. And I I was like, I'll just, I did a short story in between that to wait for her, and then I'll just listen to one more chapter, and then that was the chapter where the thing happened, and it was
You're like, sorry,
what a jerk.
I
leaving you behind.
think Katie looks up the ending normally, so
Oh no.
yeah.
Oh. So I like Flatland's interesting, but it's kind of dry. It's an 1800s book, and I don't want to relive Mysterious Island. So neither of mine am I highly recommending. So Gwen, how about you?
Okay, so remember how last time we talked, I said I was reading the Bridgerton books, and that there were like 8 of them, so that would take a while. I'm done with them. I've read all 8 Bridgerton.
Can we get
romances.
Gwen to read like a real like fantasy novel series? Like, Gwen, start The Legend of Dritz. It's like 67 books.
Oh,
let me know when you're done.
I don't have time for that. Like, what if I don't like it and I feel like obligated to finish reading it anyway?
Well, it will never end, so you'll be trapped in that horror forever.
No. But yeah, Bridgerton books. They're romance novels. They go down easy. And now I'm ready to watch all of them when they come out on Netflix. So
yay. I'm very glad for that.
My sister was like, here are a bunch of the paperbacks. She had all but like the first 3 from random thrift store purchases. So that was super nice and convenient for me. But yeah, I just started today the Camelot retelling that I was excited about. I'm just a few chapters in so far. I'm enjoying it. It's definitely rewriting the mythology in a way that's interesting.
So I maybe it was my connection, but I missed what that was. Half Sick of Shadows. It's a retelling of what? It sounds very familiar, and I can't place it.
Camelot, King Arthur.
Oh, okay.
It's the whole like Camelot story as told by the Lady of Shalott, Elaine.
Okay.
Who is like, she's like an oracle seer kind of situation. So at the beginning of this book, she's saying like, not all of my visions are guaranteed to come true, but there are some that I know are going to happen. Like sometimes they change and they shift, but I know that this is going to happen, and I know that this other thing is going to happen. And then you're like, oh, drama. How do we work our way around that?
I had a high school English teacher who loved The Lady of Shalott, the poem, and a very influential English teacher who, I might be interesting. I might be interested in reading that one. You said you had a third one?
I'm digging it. And then I haven't started this one yet, but The Rook. This I'm reading for another book club, actually. And so this is like a little science fiction-y. So like this guy wakes up in a London park surrounded by dead bodies with no memory, just trusting that she knows like what she's supposed to do based on her former sense. It's like body jumping kind of thing. So like secret agency protects us from supernatural threats. Like agents like wake up in new bodies when their old ones go.
That's interesting. Was this turned into a show?
It was.
Okay. I've seen the first season.
So someone who recommended it said, don't watch the show. It was terrible. But the book is really good, they said. So I will find out soon.
Yeah, I was not impressed with the show. It was not my cup of tea. I could see things that were about it that were like, oh, this could have been good, but it didn't. And it was Showtime.
It was disappointing.
Showtime, I think so. All right.
I'm also technically in the middle of another book series. I guess I'm taking a break from it right now. Most people thought it was a trilogy with a set of short stories, but apparently it's like 5 or 6 books. So I'm in the middle of The Witcher.
Whoa!
So I read the short stories, and then I read the first book, which is I guess what the next season is going to be based on, which is okay. The short stories were better, but technically, like the first book in the series is the first one he wrote. Then 2 and 3 were real good. So I guess I have to finish 4 and 5 and potentially 6. I thought it was a trilogy. I'll be 100% honest. I picked up those books and I was like, oh,
damn it.
What? And I'm like, on the last 2 chapters, I'm like, this isn't going to end. This is going to be a cliffhanger. What am I going to do?
Not over.
Yeah, that's Game of Thrones for you. All right, so let's pare down. I'll add one more thing to the list. Maybe is
I can just tell you all the things that are on my Audible that I haven't listened to yet. There's a lot.
Yeah, I did go out and buy a bunch of books recently, and
There's a stack of, I don't know if you can read the sign behind me. It says "Go away, I'm reading." Behind that little sign, there's a stack of books I haven't read yet. So
yeah, let's see it.
That
Go away
stack
and
isn't
read it.
that
Oh
big.
god, it really is a stack of books hidden by the sign.
I honestly
That's
assumed
great.
it would be bigger, Gwen. I won't lie.
Yeah,
that's just the stack
where
that's in the
that stack
office.
is. Yeah, that's
I
where
have
that
a stack in
is.
the bedroom too.
There's a reason why I'm doing every book ever. I'm like, I have to make sense of why I have these books.
There's also
And
like
this
a
is it.
bookshelf on the other side of the room. It's a lot.
It's a problem. All right, so this is our list so far. Dealer's choice means we're gonna put up a poll, still have everyone pick whatever they want for every week when they come and talk, but that we'll do like some sort of poll and let people pick. I'm least interested in that. I feel like there's way too much choice in this already. So sounds awful, but you know what I mean. All right,
You must read the book that I told you to read.
I'm going to take out my own choice here of not really my choice, but what I'm reading right now. Flat, you know what? I don't care. I'm not passionate enough about it. All right, that I made it real simple by removing myself from this choice. What do you think about Dealer's Choice? Should we remove that as well, or do we want to keep it and remove it as the last ditch if we can't make a decision on anything else?
I don't know. We can let people still do like their own read and check in thing.
Oh, they definitely will. This is I get so this is like deciding for us what we want to watch,
right?
Which is stupid, I guess.
So I know James is already reading it, and I have it on my list of things to read. So like Hail Mary jumps out to me as like a thing that's a strong contender. If you're interested at all, Frank.
I mean, unless it bungles the ending, it's real good.
And if it bungles the ending, that'll be something to talk about.
For sure.
I agree with that. The Witcher makes sense to me, but what doesn't make sense is how I'm supposed to read this. It feels like there's the first book would be the first series, maybe.
The Witcher, if you want it in chronological order, you read the collection of short stories, and then the books are in order from there. Technically, he wrote the short stories after book 3, and The Witcher is his first book. So the short stories read better. And it was a little disappointing to read them and then the first book because it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like he just feels a little less confident.
He improved.
Yeah, he feels less confident as a writer in book 1, and he really kind of gets his stride in book 2.
There's something still about this that I'm not like super
It's a lot
excited.
to commit to. Yeah. It's my same thing with all of Bridgerton.
Yeah, I actually that would almost be the one I want to put up and Hail Mary, but it's also all of Bridgerton. I don't know.
Yeah, we're committing to a lot of books.
We could do the first one.
We could just do the first one.
The Duke and I is the first one. That's the one that the season that exists on Netflix is about, or based on, or whatever.
I'm not super thrilled with The Rook compared to Bridgerton or Hail Mary.
Yeah,
is anybody else passionate about that? Okay. I'm just trying to see. Wrong key. Just trying to narrow it down. Have Sick of Shadows, to be honest, I'm kind of interested in, but
I'm like pretty into it.
Yeah. Okay. So I am comfortable with Hail Mary. Seems like it makes the most sense.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. So a Witcher book, the first Bridgerton book, and then see if we become a Bridgerton book club, which I would be okay with.
Yes.
Or because honestly, I think it would make the most crossover appeal. I think a lot of people really love Bridgerton. That one thread blew up.
It did.
In the fan club, and it's just because we're sitting around going, "Where's my Marvel?" Doesn't mean like it isn't legit.
People
so the novelization of WandaVision. That's what I want to. I think maybe it's Hail Mary because I'm interested in it. Now, and it was already on Gwen's pull list, and James is already reading it. I think that's enough for us to say, yeah, that's what we're going to be reading. The thing is going to be open anyways. People can bring whatever else they're going to read.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to try it out. So one day a month, staff meeting is going to talk about books and ourselves, our lives, of course. And then we're going to try to read Hail Mary. And I think that's everything except for when do we make this announcement? Although we kind of just made this announcement.
Hey guys, guess what?
Yeah, it's happening. We should make some graphics and some like collateral for this. I could throw something together, just a cover and stuff. Maybe even literally reusing Darker Shade of Magic's framework, but a different cover in the corner for book club. You want to like announce this on what's tomorrow? Friday, Monday?
Sure.
All right, cool. I mean, you could get a head start if you're watching this now or in the archive, or if
order your copy.
Comes out. Yeah, get your copy.
When do we
want to meet?
July something?
Towards the end of July?
Yeah.
I'll be done by then. Yes.
Okay.
So you know.
I mean, I'm totally on board with doing talk about it after reading the whole book. That's totally I think it's easier, honestly, in a lot of ways than being we'll talk at the halfway point. No, just read
you guys think we can be done by second to last week in July? Last week in July?
Look at a calendar.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the calendar as well. Last week in July would be the 28th or the 29th, would be Wednesday, Thursday. Mm-hmm. A certain someone whose special to me was born on the 28th. I wish I had Wikipedia open and I just read a random name, or if amazingly it was Edwin Abbott was born on the. I was like, yeah, call back. I don't think he was.
I'm out the second week of July and the 19th to the 22nd that week.
19th to the 20th. Well, if we do it the week of the 20th, I switched over the week of the 25th of July, then we have a little bit of wiggle room into which day specifically, but it seems to be past your cutoff. I think we could be good. I think we could do this. And it gives people a full month to read a book, which is not necessarily easy. But
he's not, his books are super readable. His style's very quick. It's not.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. I'm
They're
for
fast-paced.
We'll review a little bit how the streaming software works, so it's not super dependent on me, but it's simple. That's the whole point of using this thing. Hey, plug. And we are good to go. Hey, look, staff meeting got something up on the books.
Wow.
Yeah.
Success.
We haven't done it yet.
Stop doing
this is very productive,
now, right?
Don't call it that. Don't even, because we haven't. And it hasn't happened yet. Something's gonna, and this staff meeting was a full day. Like, hey, you know what? What I'd like to say at this point, thank you, Gwen. Thank you, James, for joining me. It was a lot of fun talking to you and doing geek stuff with you. And hey, thank all you patrons out there who support us in the stupid things we do. We love you all the time, all the way. I need a better sign off for this show. I just need any kind of sign off for this show. James, do you have something I can interrupt you with by putting the graphic up? I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. So have you heard that?
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer, Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.